Welcome to On Writing with Onkarabile, the show that is aiming to promote reading and writing in our communities. We seek to restore pride and dignity of Africans through the power of reading and writing. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, help me to welcome our guest today, who is Calvin Mabasa, who is known by Rudolph, KK's lawyer and Hosi's lawyer in Muvhango. We'll hear more from him. Thank you, sir, for coming to our show.
Thank you so much. It's a privilege for me having me in this show.
Yes, I mean, many people knows you as Rudolph.
Yes.
You have been in the industry for many years.
Yeah.
But I think, many people came to know you more currently when you were KK's lawyer and Hosi's lawyer. Tell us more about your journey in acting, just before we go to our book reviews topic.
Okay, going to my journey, I've went a lot of challenges. I've gone a lot of through challenges, but to cut long story short, the journey so far, is becoming fine. Like, when you are on TV, a lot of people think that you have money and stuff like that, but that's not the case. But the most important thing is that when you're in this journey, you have to make sure that you have to always humble yourself. That is the most important one. And again, you have to love your fans, because we grow every day because of our fans. We don't just grow because we are big, but we're growing because we have got a lot of fans and they promote us left, right, and center. So the journey so far is so good. So far, so good.
All right. Yes. Just briefly tell us about other roles that and the productions that you have worked with, because now many people just only know you as KK's lawyer.
I've worked in so many productions so far. Recently, I was working with this other new show coming on Majalav, which is Poisa. Constable Mashaba there, and then again I'm working in this other show called Umbali, also a hog detective there, and then which else? I've done a lot of things.
You've done a lot.
I've done a lot, so sometimes I forget, but I think about the big ones, which give me a huge exposure. That is the only one that I think about. But I'm pushing in a lot of productions so far.
And you have also been on Generation.
I've also been in Generation.
Scandal.
You see, for the gift, there was a police officer there who's Usono, with Peltusi. I've done a lot of things in the industry so far.
No, that's great, my leader. So let's talk about how you once promoted reading and writing in the community. I mean, you had a show at Mala FM,
yes,
which is a local radio station.
Yes.
Is it in
Malamulele?
In Malamulele, in Limpopo,
yes.
Yes.
Municipality.
Yes. And you had a show there, book reviews.
Yes.
Tell us about that, because I think we have not seen such in a long time where people review books. Tell us about that.
Well, when it comes to book review, it's very much important, as I said earlier, that it's very much important to be more focused when it comes to book and reading and stuff, because it helps your mentality and everything. Because remember, without education we're nothing. Because that's why in media they need somebody who have done something, they have got a good background when it comes to education and stuff. So in book review, that is where I was reading different books. Most of my books that I've read so far is Dr. Miles Monroe. I'm not reading his book because some of people say that I look like him. I'm not reading his book, but because of I've got a lot of messages in his books. So in that local radio station, which is Mala FM, I used to tell people that it's very much important to read books so that you can learn more in books. Because remember, in book, it's not only about the author making money, but it's also about empowering other people and for them to expand their level of thinking. So for them to know more about life is very much important or significant for them to read books. So I was reading these different books, because I was reading papers, the papers of understanding, the papers of being yourself by Dr. Miles Monroe. You must know your purpose. You must discover who you are. What is it that you want to achieve in life? Because remember, there are a lot of obstacles, inflation rate and stuff. But the most importantly is that you have to read books and know what was the author thinking when he did that book or wrote that book.
Oh, that's great. And tell me, when you were reading a book, you will then give a view to your listeners.
Yes.
Did you engage them? Or you were just sharing what you have learned from the book?
Yes, I did engage some of the viewers, because they do an open call for audience to call online and ask about what is it that I've received in that book, or what is it that is going to put more impact in other people's life in the book that I was reading. So I tell them that, you know what, it's very much important for you to go out there and research and get whatever book that you read. It can be novel, it can be poetic books, and any book that you can have, at least have your own library in your own house or room, because like it helps to expand the level of thinking. And by doing that, that is where I've discovered that a lot of people in our communities, they're not more into books. They're more into geeks and stuff.
Yeah.
So I said, I have to change that mentality that, you know, that as young as we are, we have to put more effort in readings, in sharing stories, in research and stuff. And it helps to change the way we live in our daily basis.
Exactly. And how was the response? How was the response? Since you are saying that you have discovered that, many people were into geeks and stuff like that, but not into reading. So how was the response after the show?
Well, after the show, like, I've changed people's life, so many people's life, because, like, if you once you become a role model or you are your inspiration, a lot of people follow you. So because you are doing something good to the community, it helps them to learn from you as you are a role model. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people say, oh, you know what, we did. In the next show, I have a lot of calls saying that, hey man, I was reading this book and I have received this and that out of that book. So like the response was good, because like a lot of people, that is where they started reading books and they become more interested in books instead of going to pubs and geek and stuff. The response was good.
No, that's a great work.
Yes.
And up to so far, apart from Miles Monroe, which books have you remember you engaged with your listeners?
I was saying that I was reading Dr. Miles Monroe, but I also read this other book by Mr. Manoleke, Shulani Int. I was reading this book, The Purpose of The Journey of Life. Is it The Journey of Life? Because like I've got a lot of his books. So that is where I've discovered a lot of things there. And then I've also shared some stories about that book. And I told the listener that, you know what, you can go online and search for this book so that you can learn more about this. It's good when you grow up knowing somebody from your village or community, and that particular person become an author. And in few years or in few months to come, you become an international author. That is where you can discover them. While being an author is like, anybody can be an author, but depending on the content, you must have a content. What is it that you want to talk about in the book? Like myself, I'm busy with my book now, The Journey of Life. Obviously, I'm going to talk about my life. That's where I'm going to put impact in other people's lives, because they see me as their role model and inspiration. So I have to give back to the community by writing that book. The purpose is not only for me to receive money from the buyers, but it's for me to educate people about what is happening in life.
And I like what you said about when you read and shared the book by Shulani Maluleka.
Yes.
And what is good about it is that he is from Limpopo.
Yes, he's from Limpopo.
So
Yes.
Listeners could engage more and could be relevant. That but this guy just grew up here.
He's our homie.
Yeah, he's our homie.
Yeah.
Some of us, we know him.
Yes.
So I think is very good when it comes to that aspect. And on the same note, what do you think is the importance of actually reviewing our local books?
The importance of reviewing our local books is that people tend to see that it's possible. That's number one. They see that anything is possible, and they even engage to the author. That, you know what, how did you make it? And it helps other people, up and coming authors, that it can be, it's possible.
Yeah.
Even you can be an author. So it helps also for them to learn more from the author, and it helps them to know which steps to take for them to have or to publish their book. Because there are a lot of people who are talented out there and they don't know where to go or where to start, or how do I become an author. Like, you might be having this talent of being an author, but you don't know the steps or the places to go when you want to publish your book, and all the steps and stuff. So it helps when you review the book with the communities, that they can go to you and ask so many questions, so that it can help them to grow their craft and stuff.
No, that's good. And apart from, you spoke something which is very important, of saying, a book is not all about making money.
Yes.
But then I want to ask a question. Don't you think it's also an advantageous for authors when you review my book, so that you put me out there? I also benefit when it comes to that.
That one is the most important one, because like when hence I was mentioning the name of Shaliman Lake. Like, you know, if we review his book and we talk more about his book, we also want to know where does it come from, how did he grow up, like we want to know his background, and it, like, you know, then that it also teach us, show us that like it's not like he grow in a different places or in a different home like ours. No, we're coming from the same background, but like the only difference is that the level of thinking. When you have a different level of thinking, that is where a lot of people can tell, no man, we want to learn something from this guy. We want to learn something from this. But by doing that, we're also helping him to put him in the platform, like, you know, in the spotlight. Because some of people, like we have got different friend page. We've got different friends. I've got friends in Botswana, like all over the world, because like the talent that I have is unique from other people, what they're doing. So like when I'm doing my stuff, people become interested in what I'm doing, because remember, I'm a voice impersonator, so like it's not easy to do that. So I've got a lot of fans, so but like when I review that book, people tend to understand, like they have interest in that particular person. Who is this guy? So it helps for authors to grow as well.
No, I think, you know, we need such platforms. But according to you, do you think we have more of that platform where we have people who review our books?
So far, I don't think we have more, because like hence I said earlier that like people are more into like gigs and stuff, and I think those who organize or event organizers, they should make sure that they should have a slot for authors. That will help a lot, because like in gigs, we're just going there for entertainment. That's all. We don't even learn anything from out of that entertainment or out of that gig. But if you can have authors who will come through and also share their book, I think it will help. It will help, because I remember I have got like on the 14th of May, it was my birthday celebration. I've got 2 authors in my birthday celebration. They came with their books, and only 2 books. I asked one of the authors, why did you bring 2 books? Because like this is a platform where you should sell your book, or you tell people more about your books. So I think in this kind of gigs, that is where we should have authors coming through and be part of the event, and also share their books there. That is when people will grab interest in authors and books and in reading as well.
You know, I was about to ask you a question, but I think you have answered it, because I was about to ask you a question of saying, apart from like your platform was on radio, you were reviewing books on radio. So I wanted to ask, is it the only radio that you can use to review the books? But you have answered it, like making example about an event, like your event, of saying you had a birthday celebration, then you brought some authors to come and review their books. So I think that is also another way that we can do to increase this, you know, this concept of reviewing books, or of saying we don't just look at radio, you know, or you know, let's have authors coming when I have an event, you know, even if event is not about reading.
Even, like it's not. Like, no, remember, like in all event we learn, or everywhere we go we learn. Like myself, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm very much like busy with research and stuff everywhere I go. Because like, you know, being a comedian and being a voice imitator, sometimes it need more time. But for me, it doesn't need time, because like wherever I go, I just grab some jokes here and there, out there. Because like in book review and stuff, I think I can make a lot of jokes out of book review. In one book, even your book, I can make like a joke out of your book, even though there is no jokes in that book. But like I can make a joke out of that, even the cover on its own, it tells more. But like people, they don't see that, or like we don't see in the same way, or like I don't know what is it that I can. But the thing is, like when it comes to book reviewing and this kind of pubs and gigs and stuff, we should have more authors coming through in large numbers, for them to sell their work. You know, sometimes you can go with 10 books just to give away, for people to read and know what is written in that book. Because remember, I was telling this other lady, she was selling peanuts. And when she was selling peanuts, she was selling inside the bag. And she just tapped my shoulder, hey, I'm selling peanuts. I said, are you really selling? She said, yeah, but I don't think you're a seller. She said, why? I was like, have you ever seen people who are selling on the train? They don't do that. They put their thing out there and show people that I'm really selling this. And they don't become ashamed of doing that, because like you can't be ashamed of making money. Because like that, at the end of the day, you have to put food on the table. So for you to put food on the table from that sweet that you're selling, put those sweets outside there so that people can see. So same applies to authors. They should come with their books and say, you know, like artists, You know when they get to go to gigs, they throw their CD like this. Yeah, because like they're showing that like they want people to listen to what is in their music, to listen to their music and stuff. So same applies to authors. But authors sometimes it's like, we must have a book summit where we can have only authors coming through. And it's too bad.
Yeah.
But at least if you can have 3 or 4 artists, big artists, and then we bring them there, people will come in large numbers. And by doing that, you'll be selling your work, and you'll be sharing your story to the people. Because remember, at the end of the day, authors, they want their story to be heard. And to learn something out of those books. So I think that will work in the
No, I agree. Yes. And I like the example that you made about the person who was selling peanuts. I mean, remember, as you have said, you as much as you are selling and you are making income, but at the same time, you are making a difference. This person is selling peanuts, which I'm gonna enjoy when I eat.
Exactly.
You understand? It's not that I'm doing him a favor, her a favor. I also benefit.
Both benefit.
Exactly. And I like what you said, that it's about me sharing my story.
Definitely.
When I start writing my book, the first thing that comes to my mind is not money. Exactly. But it's about this message to reach someone. To change someone's life. Money comes after, but the most important thing, the purpose, is to reach someone, to change lives. So I think you are right when you say, and even not only authors, but anyone who's in his business must have that mentality of saying, I'm not doing this. This person does not do me a favor. It's a mutual.
It's a mutual thing. Exactly, it's a mutual thing.
Exactly. So thank you, my leader. Then the young people. Let's talk about young people. Did you have many young people on your show when you were reviewing books?
Yes, I did have a lot of young people because like most of the kids that I had, they were matrix student last year. So like I think 10 out of let's say 10 out of 20 they responded like in a good way, because like some of them, because like I shared my number on that radio, so some of them called me, said, man, what you did is a great thing, because like now it gave me energy to put more effort in my book, on my studies, because like most of them, they were not like more into books. They were more into like playing games on the phone and stuff. But since I have that platform and doing the book review on radio, it changed their lives, because they believe in what I'm doing. So if you believe in someone, it means that you can follow the footstep of that particular person that you said is your role model. So they give me a call saying that, what, I've got a bachelor degree on my matric. Thank you so much for making me to fall in love with books and stuff. Like some of them now, they are in 3 of them, they're in UJ, and it's a good thing. Because like if it wasn't for that book review on that radio station, they wouldn't have put more effort in their books.
Exactly.
But now they've given me a call saying that, what, we receive a good result in our matric. So thank you so much for coming on that. Because like if it wasn't for you, we didn't like have a time for our books. But because we love you from TV, so it made us to follow your footstep. You see. So at least I've put an impact in other people's life, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
So when I'm listening to you now, I'm having an idea of saying, I think we need more role models, to do these book reviews. Because like you are saying, some will say, okay, I know you from TV. So, because of they follow you from TV, then everything that you're doing, then they will follow you.
They follow you,
And at the same time, you are changing their lives. You understand?
Yes.
So I think we need more role models, more celebrities, more artists, to do such things.
Exactly.
And also we need these guys to give us a platform like radio stations, to give us platform, to come up with such idea of book reviews. And I wanted to ask you this last question, maybe. Since you left that show, is there anyone who continue with the show?
No, the show just stopped.
You see why?
Just stopped.
You see, now it's a problem.
It's a question of why. Because remember, I've got a lot of fan base there. So the fact that I have a lot of fan base, and they're saying that we cannot have anyone, we need him. And unfortunately, I didn't quit the show or leave the show because they fired me or what. No, everything went well. The problem is that I was too busy with TV productions. That was the only problem. And they couldn't reach me on the phone and stuff. And they said, can you just pause the show for now? When you're done with whatever that you're doing, we'll come back and continue the show. Because remember, the content was different. The most important thing is the content. Like, people can come or they try to be to do what I was doing, but the content will be different. And the way even the response from the people will be too different. Because like it depends who's on radio now. Like for example, let me just give an example by late Michael Jackson. If Michael Jackson performs and they say that like, okay, he's no longer performing, but we're going to call, for example, Tupac, the response will be different. He had a lot of fan base, but they differ in like, you know, even the genre of music, they differ and stuff. So everybody have got his or her own fan base or followers. That is the only problem. So the show just stopped. And like, you know, people are asking me, why are you not coming back? Or why can't you have another radio station to have you in this kind of platform? Because like it was helping a lot of young ones. Because like, even the elders, like elder people, like they fall in love with reading newspapers in the taxis. Like, let me just buy this newspaper. They took a picture while reading and sent me on WhatsApp, hey man, I'm reading newspaper. You know, it was something different. Because like, they were not in love with books or reading at all. But now that I came, they fall in love with reading.
Normally, I think you must make a plan of it's either you go back or maybe you get someone, you know, to continue with the show. Maybe you mentor that person so that they can continue with the show, because we need such shows.
Exactly.
You know? And as you have said earlier, when I ask you, we don't have a lot of this, of these platforms, you know. So, and we can see that it's changing lives. You know, it's making difference, because we really need reading and writing. We need to promote reading and writing in our communities, because we have seen that we are lacking when it comes to that. You know, hence we ourselves have developed this show to give back to the community and promote reading, and by bringing you here, you know, sharing your experience, sharing the kind of shows that you are doing. So please make a way that you see that you go back or you mentor someone to continue with the show. And also we continue with not only on radio, as you have said, you know, we have other gigs, events where we bring authors, and we do continue with this book reviews. I think it will change many lives.
Definitely, that will change a lot of people's life. Because like in my room, I think I've got more than 40 books. And per day, if I'm not busy, per day I can read more than 5 or 6.
That's great. That's great.
Like you know, the reason why I'm reading is like is to expand the knowledge that I have, to expand. Like they say that traveling broadens our horizon, even reading broadens our horizon. Because like if you don't read, we can't change life. We can't change life. What is it that I'm achieving on the street? Nothing. If I'm not busy with gigs or TV or anything, or like if I'm not going to see people on the side if they're working, whatever, I'm busy with reading. That's the most important thing. Because like I've seen a lot of things which is happening in the country recently, but like if we do not read, we're nothing. We're not going to change the country if not read.
No, thank you, my leader. Thank you. Your last words, my leader, encouragement to the viewers of the show. What can you say to them?
I can go back to the quote said by the late Nelson Mandela, saying that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. If we don't read, listeners, we're not going anywhere. Let's continue reading. Let's continue writing. Let's continue sharing ideas. Let's continue going to people who are doing the thing that we love. That is when we can learn a lot of things. And remember, another thing, humbleness, be generous at all time. Be open-hearted people everywhere you go. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my leader, for coming to the show.
It's a pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching On Writing with Onkarabile, the show that is aiming to promote reading and writing in our communities. We have heard from Mr. Calvin Mabasa, who is saying education is the most powerful weapon that you can use to change the world, quoting the late Nelson Mandela. Ladies and gentlemen, please do subscribe to our channel, Nolu Unlimited Multimedia. Like and share.